We are so glad you could join us today. I'm Wendy Thompson from the Streetcar team, and my main role is to keep you informed about the project, especially any changes that might affect your daily commute or neighborhood. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions or concerns you might have. We know that construction can disrupt your routine, and our goal is to provide clear and timely information. We're here to walk you through the latest developments and encourage you to ask questions at any point using the Q&A feature. We have a lot to cover today, so let's dive in. First, I'd like to introduce you to the team who will be sharing updates on construction and what to expect in the coming months. We have Steve Jensen, Deputy Chief of Staff for Economic Development in the Mayor's Office and Omaha Streetcar Authority Board Member, Megan Walter, MUD Customer Engagement Manager, and Mike True, Omaha Public Works Department and the Streetcar Project Manager. Now I'd like to turn it over to Steve Jensen.
Thank you, Wendy. So today on our agenda, if you back up, there we go. We're going to go through work zone safety reminders. We're going to talk about the schedule. We'll also be going over the gas relocation work that MUD is doing. We'll talk about the vehicle maintenance facility, the West utility package work that has been going on for some time now and will continue through the end of the year. We'll talk about the I-480 bridges. We'll talk about the East utility package, which is well underway right now, and people are seeing the work there. We'll talk about the Turner Boulevard utility package that was approved by the OSA board last month and will begin shortly. We'll talk about mainline track construction, business support, and wrap up with construction communications and questions and answers. But first, before we get into all of that, we want to talk about the work zone and safety reminders there. Obviously, a lot of work going on, a lot of disruption for traffic and pedestrians. So we just want to make sure everybody stays alert and avoid distractions like cell phones, eating and drinking, talking with others while you're driving through the area. Make sure you follow the detours. We've installed a lot of wayfinding signage for pedestrians, bicyclists, and also for traffic, and we are continuing to improve on that. So keep an eye out for those detours. Try to stay out of the work zones. I know in a lot of places it's more direct to walk through the work zone to get to where you're going, but we'd really like people to follow those pedestrian routes. Plan ahead. It's going to take some time to get through some of these areas right now. A lot of work going on that just has to get out of the way so we can get on to the work we really want to do, which is getting into the construction of the system itself. So with that, the construction schedule, the construction has been complete for some time now on Mecca Lot A, which allowed us to begin the construction on the vehicle maintenance facility. We've also the work is continuing on that West utility package. Steve Rue will go through more of what's happening on that. We'll talk about the interstate bridges. The work continues on Harney Street. Steve's going to cover where things stand on that package. Vehicle maintenance facility, Sampson Construction's moving along with construction. Mike True will provide an update on that. The utilities east of I-480 work is well underway, particularly in the 8th Street, 10th Street, Capitol to Harney area. Steve and Mike are going to cover the details on that. And then, as I mentioned, we'll talk about the Turner Boulevard sewer improvements. Work will begin soon, and Mike and Steve will cover that work as well. Mainline construction will begin in early 26, continue for roughly 2 years. And during this whole period right now, work is ongoing with the MUD gas relocation work, and there's also some communications and fiber utility work that is going on at the same time that is part of what you're seeing out there in terms of construction. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Megan, and she can discuss the MUD work.
Thanks, Steve.
Megan?
Good afternoon, everybody. The remaining work for this phase, we're in phase 6 in Harney Street. It includes individual gas work for Voodoo Taco, Jams, and the 406 Dubliner buildings, which will take place in the alley. For the Voodoo Taco service, we plan to extend our gas main from Farnham to just north of the Voodoo Taco building and then run their service west to the proposed meter location. For the Jam service, we plan to install their new service from the existing gas main in 11th Street to the southeast corner of their building. The alley work includes service work for the 406 Dubliner buildings. After all gas service work is completed, our construction crew will come back to this corridor to cut off the old main at 15th Street. All of these businesses will remain open during this time. We anticipate this phase to be entirely completed in November. So our next slide shows phase 5 in Farnham Street. The work currently at 24th Street should be completed by the end of next week, and then we can turn street repair over to the city of Omaha. The crew will then move to near the alley between 24th and 25th Streets by the International Cafe. Watch for traffic control measures to move west in Farnham. The alley on the north side of the Farnham will likely be closed to traffic for this work. This portion should take about 2 to 3 weeks to complete. When the crew gets to 25th Street, parking on both sides of Farnham will be impacted. Farnham may be open using one lane of traffic, and there may be a sidewalk closure with the detour. Please know our crews are always reassessing traffic control measures to ensure the least amount of impact possible while continuing to work safely. We anticipate this phase to be completed early February. So in our next slide, we have phase 7 in Harney, east of I-480. The construction crew continues to install new gas main to 24th Street. This is the stopping point for the new main installation. A separate construction crew will be replacing and or reconnecting individual gas services from 26th to 28th Street starting next week. This work may include additional excavations in Harney. Eventually, more gas services will be worked along this corridor. While no new main is to be installed from 20th to 24th, we still need to ensure gas services are deep enough for future streetcar tracks. Watch for small holes to be dug along Harney for this work. We anticipate new main installation work to be completed in December. And then finally, this slide shows all of the phases. And the ones in red are the ones that we're currently working in. Phase 8 work in the Turner Boulevard area will be scheduled to start late this year yet. And as Mr. Jensen mentioned, we want to strongly emphasize the importance of safety in construction areas. Pedestrians should use extra caution around any open holes or excavated areas, and drivers are urged to slow down and proceed carefully when passing through the construction zones. I'll pass it back to Steve. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Megan. I'm going to now hand it over to Mike True and Steve Rue to discuss the vehicle maintenance facility, the utilities west package, I-480 bridges, east utilities package, Turner Boulevard, and the main line construction. I'm not
Thanks,
sure
Steve.
who takes it. Mike? Okay.
You can see right here, this is the ongoing work at the vehicle maintenance facility. On the picture on the right, you can see for several people have been asking exactly where this is. This is tucked in just back behind the interstate in the former Mecca parking lots for the CHI Center, which picture on your right, left edge of that picture is the CHI Center, and just to the right, you can see the luminarium. The picture on the left shows circular piece of steel. It's filled with concrete and 2 L-shaped bars coming out of it. That is your piles that are then, after being driven, are filled. And currently they're pouring a large mat foundation slab to bring them all in. Later on this month or early next month, we intend to start getting shipments for the vertical components. And through the winter and spring, you'll see this building start to actually come out of the ground. This is the utilities west package. For those who haven't driven out this way, Farnham is just one way west. Most of the work is now concentrated essentially from 36th to the terminus. This is on track to be wrapped up by the end of the year, which is some good news there. This is if you notice, there are 2 parking stalls. So if you don't have on-street parking in the area, we encourage you to use either park on an opposite street, or there's the main parking garage there at between 37th and 38th, or there is a smaller lot at the western end along 40th and Harney. There will be some upcoming closures as they finalize water main installation along 38th, and that'll be the last major hurdle as we go through this end of the process. The I-480 bridges, as those of you who've been driving along and come in, myself being one of them, Harney actually looks like a bridge, and they're wrapping up work there. That's still on schedule, also be wrapped up by the end of this year. 28th Street is going to remain closed through the remainder of this month. Maybe hopefully last week or the first week in November it'll reopen. Some of that is our work, and then that same cordoned off area is simply going to be handed over to OPPD, who has some significant work to do in and around here. So instead of opening it and then a day or two later shutting it down, we're just going to hand it off to OPPD. You can see here there's some alternate paths to get off, with the Harney exit being closed at 28th. Once Harney is complete and signed off on, accepted, then they will begin to early next year start demoing and rebuilding the Farnham Street Bridge. Next slide. East Utilities package. So any of you east of I-480 have started to have probably noticed the several different construction crews and groups around down here and all the new traffic controls that have popped up. They are focusing mostly on the more eastern end of this particular utility package, trying to get things through. We're working with, for instance, at 8th and Douglas, we're working with some developers there to try to minimize what impacts we do have going on. And if you see something that's changed, you can always feel free to reach out to the team and let us know. If we've had, as mentioned earlier, there's been pedestrian traffic and other coordinations that have come up. And some of these road flips, especially with the utility side, can happen in a day, and maybe that MOT isn't quite set up right. So, let us know. But we're going to be starting at the east, generally working towards the west. You have an electrical crew out there. You've got a couple of different crews for sewers, and you have at least one crew right now for water main. That may go up to 2. You're going to have 4 or 5 of these different spots you're going to have traffic control, then it'll go away. And they hope to have this all wrapped up by middle of 27. This is focusing in on, sorry, my own screen has a pop-up now. All right. So this is the 10th Street area. Right now, we're trying to finalize the water line that goes along 10th. So there's several alternate routes that have popped up. This is somewhat dependent also on the 8th and Douglas. Got to get things wrapped up there first, so that way when we actually do the final closure of 10th to complete some of these connection points at the north and south end, we can then once again reroute traffic. More to come on this one. Turner Boulevard. This is the final package that got bid out. They are going to begin doing work on this early next week. Most of it will be minor work, going out and just potholing, drilling down, actually just finding where other utilities are at. There will be a full closure at the intersection of Farnham and Turner starting January of next year through the middle of April. And that will coincide with the demolition of the bridge. That is going to be the only full closure at that intersection that's planned. There will be just like any of the other utility phases, there will be other MOT in and around the area that you will see. We hope to have all of this wrapped up by fall of next year. Mainline track construction. We have this will start off near the Turner and Farnham intersection on the north side of Farnham, and then proceed west. You'll see a series of about 6 crews come through. The top photo there shows demolition. Crew comes through, rips out pavement, any other appurtenances, goes back, puts in this plate and bridging system, so that way driveways, roadways, access to businesses can be maintained. That is followed up by a civil crew who will do some additional stormwater, traffic, communications, some of the direct power for the actual system. Then the picture below that, you can see a crew that actually comes in, forms a section, and there is another separate crew that actually will come in, weld rail, place rail in where it goes. That's followed by a paving crew, and then that's followed by a wrap-up crew. First heading, as it says on the slide, January 5th, 2026. We'll start off heading out on Farnham. They will go through north side, then switch traffic over and work on the south side. They should maintain one westbound lane. Unlike utilities, it's a lot more linear. You aren't going to see nearly as much movement to the side. They might have a few connection points here or there, or if they might have a bump out where they're working on a side stop. Oh, sorry. I already said that part too. All right. Next slide. And we'll turn back over to Steve for business support.
All right. Thanks, Mike. So in terms of business support, there are a number of things that we've been doing throughout this process. We understand the difficulties that construction can cause. It's been very disruptive. We understand that. But there are a number of things that we're doing to try and help. And as we said a couple of times now, if there's something missing, and by all means get in touch with us so we can try and get anything that needs to be changed done quickly. But here are a quick list of some of the things that we are working on to help through this process. First, there's overall communication. On the Omaha Streetcar Authority OSA website at omahastreetcar.org, you can find construction updates and an interactive map that shows up-to-date information by area. There's frequently asked questions there, so you can get a lot of information on the website itself. Wendy also does a weekly construction update email newsletter. I know I look at that, and it's very helpful to kind of help you keep up to date with what's going on week to week. And then, of course, we have these monthly construction update webinars. As on a day-to-day basis, you can always contact Wendy, as she's our contact person in the corridor, and she can help get you in touch with the right people and pass along whatever it is that you're calling about to try and get resolved. We also work on traffic accessibility and pedestrian accessibility throughout this process. So in the construction zones, we work to maintain sidewalk access to all the businesses on a continuous basis. Also work to help with delivery access and coordination. And then wherever we can, we've tried to maintain in the west area west of I-480, maintain one-way westbound traffic whenever possible. We'll continue to try to do that. Mike mentioned going forward, we'll have another complete shutdown that will take some time, but other than that, we try to maintain that one-way westbound traffic whenever we can. Same thing with those other areas. We try to maintain at least a lane when we can to maintain traffic in that area. Outside the construction zones, we'll maintain standard traffic configurations at all times. As we mentioned earlier, there will be directional traffic signage and directional pedestrian signage along the route, so we work on that as well. With regard to parking, Mike mentioned, that we are also maintaining access to off-street parking in the construction zones. We've added directional signage to help direct people to those parking areas. We maintain unobstructed on-street parking outside of the construction zones. The parking division has worked with through their parking partners program to open area parking that may be used by businesses during the day, but allow it to be opened at night and on the weekend for people to use. We are also providing 2 hours of free parking in the new Blackstone garage. And so we're working to try and help with parking in that area in particular. With regard to business promotion, we've added business advertising and support signage throughout the corridor. We've also added business wayfinding signage to help people find their way to the businesses while the construction is going on. We've put banners and storefront window posters along the route. We also do business promotion and advertising on the Omaha OSA Streetcar newsletter that is sent out periodically. With regard to business financial assistance, we worked with the chamber. They had a donor who provided a significant amount of funding to help support businesses in the area west of Turner Boulevard. Those areas will have the greatest impact. They've already had about a year or more of construction along that route. They'll have tracks on both sides of the street as opposed to other areas that only have tracks on one side of the street. So they're really going to have the longest period of construction. So a donor has stepped up to help through the chamber, help some of the businesses in that corridor. If you're in that corridor and you're a business and you've not been contacted about that, the work will be done through the funding will be done through the business, the property owner and management company. So get in touch with your manager or with the owner of the property to find out more about that business funding. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Wendy. She can talk about what else is happening with construction communications. Wendy?
Thank you, Steve. For those of you who are new to our webinar series, we host these on the first Wednesday of every month at noon. We know how tricky schedules can be, so if you can't join us live, don't worry. We record each session and post it on our website for you to watch whenever it's convenient. Just remember that you'll need to register for each session to get a new monthly link. If you registered for a previous webinar, we'll send you an email reminder before the next one so you don't miss out on signing up. We highly encourage you to register even if you can't attend live. Feel free to submit any construction and traffic questions beforehand. That way we can address them during the webinar and ensure you get the information you need when you watch the recording later on the website or the Streetcar's YouTube channel. Looking ahead to next month, we'll detail all the planned work, schedules, and how it will impact the project as construction moves forward. We'll also expand on the upcoming mainline track construction that is scheduled to begin in January. We understand construction can be disruptive, and we're committed to minimizing impacts and keeping you informed. To do that, we've developed a few key resources that Steve has already covered, but please sign up for our email update. We also have the interactive GIS map. It was developed to allow you to zoom in on your area to see specific project impacts. It's frequently updated with the latest, most accurate information. We encourage you to share these valuable resources with your neighbors, colleagues, and anyone interested in the project's progress. Our team is here to ensure everyone has the information they need to understand and navigate these changes. Please leverage our resources, reach out with your questions, and stay connected as the project moves forward. Finally, if you have immediate concerns or would like more project information or information from the project team, please contact me by phone or email. Exciting news, we are doing streetcar branding. We're looking for your input on the future streetcar logo. Take our community survey and tell us your opinions on the look and feel of the future streetcar brand. The survey is open through Thursday, October 7th. You can learn more and take the survey on our website or use the QR code on the screen. Now let's begin the Q&A session with questions that were sent in, but we haven't answered yet as we went through our presentation. Please continue to add questions about construction and traffic impacts to the Q&A box. So let's begin with the first question from Mike. Sorry, my screens are backwards. So when will the construction be completed around the 10th and Douglas and 8th and Farnham orbit stations?
Are you talking about the current Utilities East schedule, or are you talking about just in general?
Well, let's cover the Utilities East first. I know we're still waiting on an update for track work, but if we could update the other
So,
section.
8th and Douglas, once we get the over there right now, that work is partly due to some developers that are in the area. Once they move out here, hopefully in the next few weeks, we're going to have our own water crews going in after that. And I will have to get you an exact timeline on when they'll be out, but you'll be seeing construction in and around that area through the beginning of November.
Okay, thank you. Steve, when is the forecasted commercial operation date for the streetcar?
Well, in terms of carrying passengers, right now the projected date is the fall of 2028. And what people will see before that is there's about a 6 to 9 month period of time when the vehicles will be running. That's a testing phase to make sure the vehicles are working okay, but also to make sure that they line up with the platform, to make sure that all of the communications along the route work properly, the overhead wires where those are located, and so forth. So there's a testing phase before we can carry passengers, but right now the date of passengers being able to ride the streetcar is the fall of 2028.
Thank you. Our next question is for Mike. Um, Someone is asking about the construction impacts on Harney and Farnham since their building is near 13th Street.
So work in and around 13th and Farnham. So the Farnham work is scheduled to start next year, Q1, January, February, and then that runs on. Then the Harney side will start on fall of 26 and runs through end of 26. Both sets of those construction phases run about 2 to 3 months. So whenever you see work kickoff, expect in the 2 to 3 months on the back end range of when it'll go. So Farnham side, start of next year. Harney side, call it fall of next year is the current schedule.
Thank you. Another one for you. What are the preventative processes that we have in place to avoid damage to existing properties due to construction? Or if damage does happen, how do we work with the property owners?
So preventative processes, you take that a few different ways. So like we do pre-construction surveys, so you go out and the contractor's supposed to record, and we have our own that states here's the condition before it was. There's things like the MOT plans to make sure that everyone retains or maintains everything within the right of way, figuring out where appropriate stockpile locations are, and going over the contractor what can and can't be done. If anyone does have a claim of damage caused by them, bring it up and we'll see what it takes to get it restored.
Thank you. Looks like our last question was covered by both Mike and Steve through the presentation. I don't see any questions that have been sent in through the chat. So thank you for all of the great questions. For questions we were unable to address on this call, I'll contact you at the registration email address you provided when you signed up.
I just wanted to also say thank you to everyone for attending and also working with us. 2026 is probably going to be our busiest year for the construction phase on this project. Basically, every project, if it doesn't close out, like the Harney Street Bridge, is going to be actively going. So we're going to do our best, especially with these comms. Please reach out to us if you have questions. And just thank you for sticking with us. And we're going to get this thing built and move on.
That wraps up our session for today. Thank you all for joining us. We're excited about the progress we're making and the positive impact the Omaha Streetcar will have on our community for generations to come. We look forward to seeing you at the next month's webinar. Have a great day, everyone.